is not a building. Oh, hometown. Home is where you stand there when it all crumbles.
Well, thank you for tuning in. This is Matt Santos of The Mile High Show, and you are listening to something. What are you listening to? Episode number 193. We're just going to get right onto it. This is my talk with Becky Dalke. She is a local musician and storyteller and songwriter. She is hosting a Becky Fest this Sunday, October 28th at Mark's Beer Garden. Links to the show, links to the event page, links to Becky's music is right there in the show notes. Check it out. Stop by Mark's. Thank you, Mark's, for putting up with us and letting us record there. Becky Fest, 10/28 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Mark's Beer Garden. Let's just get to it. Becky Fest with Becky Dalke right here on the Mile High Show.
Love inside. Oh, no, so
I'm not going to be like,
You don't know where that sponge
I know.
has been.
It's like, I need to. Is there something that I can?
Les Lyman may have used that last, so
okay.
we might want to soak it in vodka.
Do we need some vodka?
Just sterilize it.
Do we need a little maybe napkin over that or something?
A little barrier.
A little
a dental jam.
Oh God. That's terrible.
Becky.
That's terrible.
Tell me why we're here and where people can find you. Get all that out of
everybody!
The way for social media website.
We are here to talk about Becky Fest on October 28th from 2 to 8 at Mark's Beer Garden, which used to be the old Black Hole, and if you knew Addictions, but now it's Mark's Beer Garden, which is amazing.
Swenson Street in Prescott,
yeah,
right
Swenson.
near Pop's Music.
Yeah, right
For
down from Pops.
For all the musicians
Off of Meadow
out there.
Ridge. That's where it is. If you're going and if you're also heading over to Dry Gulch, you'll run right into Mark's.
So where can folks find out about Becky? Let's get that
on
promo
Becky
stuff.
Fest. They can go to Facebook. Becky Fest at Facebook. I don't know what the thing is,
Type
but
in
on
the
Facebook.
search bar.
Yeah. There, and then of course you can find me at Becky Dalke Music. On Facebook, Reverb Nation, and I'm still trying to get my my website up sometime. It's kind of difficult. I'm not the most tech savvy.
I tell you what, we don't have one of their affiliate things, but if you're a podcast listener, you can't throw a rock and not hit a podcast that has a Squarespace promo code.
Uh-huh.
So simple. I built Sky Conwell's
wow.
for his 99 years. Literally, no joke,
Yeah.
10 minutes
Really?
to set them up. It's about $100 and something bucks a year.
Okay.
But if you use a promo code, I mean, seriously, pull a podcast and all the biggies, the big nationals, they all have a Squarespace thing. So pick your favorite podcast. Maybe Squarespace will hit me up and give me one, but I doubt it.
Hey, that would be nice. Squarespace. Come on.
Use the Squarespace promo and you get like, whether you're free domain if you don't already have one, or you get so many free months type of thing.
Yeah.
And you can save a good chunk. When we launched Skies, I used Doug Stanhope's from, do you know Doug? He's a comic, big guy. He used to be on the Man Show with Joe Rogan years ago.
I probably do.
National touring guy, big.
Yeah.
Wanted about a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
Got sick of doing the whole comedy club circuit and agents and everything, and losing half your money. So he decided to do it all independent. He performs at a lot of like music venues around the country. Does everything himself, and got off the grid. Moved to Bisbee. He owns a compound in Bisbee.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Cool guy. Got a chance to hang out with him a couple of times, and a bunch of my buddies from the Phoenix comedy scene know him personally.
Yeah.
But we used the code Stanhope and got, I think, the first free year for Sky.
Oh wow.
Something like that. But literally a half hour and it was up and running.
Well,
Simple.
we might have to get together and do that.
Uh-oh.
So it was like, what?
I'm looking at the ads. We were talking about this off mic.
Gosh.
I do not talk politics on this podcast because I hate it so much, and it bores the heck out of me.
There's just a lot going on,
But
and it's a pain in the butt.
This Kristen Cinema McSally, what's her first name?
Martha
McSally. fight,
It is
this
just
race here in
craziness.
Arizona is nuts.
It's craziness. It is. It's really crazy. It's like, I'm like, come on.
Anyway, not a
I think,
I'm not a
women,
fan of politics.
all women should be like standing up and coming together. That's what Becky Fest is about.
Well, and talk about that. Who do
know.
we got? Who's performing?
This year's Becky Fest, we have Robin Trincini, we have Candace McNulty, we have Nina Curry from Phoenix.
I'm not familiar with Nina. I was looking at the poster earlier. I know Robin fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
I know Candace pretty good from the music scene here.
Nina is amazing. She's a blues singer. Blues singer from Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity of playing some drums for her album that she just came out with, which I'm so happy to have her here. She was going to be here last year when we did it, and she wasn't able to make it. So so she's here, and then we have Meg Borman, and then Stella Laura will be here.
Now, Stella, that name I don't know why that's sticking in my head. Was she based
I
here?
will say that she has evolved into many different
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
Incarnations, different groups
but
and stuff.
She's always been who she is. But her name her name was Rollo for a long time.
No,
and now it's
Stella
Stella in the Fence. Yes.
Yeah. No. Okay.
So,
I know
but
Rollo.
Stella.
That's
So, yeah.
why it was sticking.
Yes.
She
so
used to
it's
do
Stella.
some teaching locally.
Yeah.
She promoted some stuff, visual arts.
Yeah, she used to actually. She was the one who
I've
started.
had her on the show before. Yeah.
She started Earth Mother Mind Jam and
Yes.
all that stuff. So yes, so Stella's going to be here.
I like Rollo.
and
or Stella.
and
or
Stella.
Hey,
That's
you.
Stella. And
Oh,
she's going to be
cool.
here, and she's going. I am just so happy to have her.
She is
a
just
part of Becky
a
Fest.
fascinating person.
She is.
And when I say I'm very unique, and I'm saying that with admiration, she can be a little out there though.
You know what? But I think that's what makes her amazing.
No, and that's what-
is that she does that. The boundaries aren't.
Yeah.
She didn't see boundaries. She's like, okay, this is.
Yeah.
I can do whatever
She
I want,
fascinates me.
and amazing. And I really hope that everybody can be here because to see her. She's gonna be playing at. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of all the times. She's gonna be at like around 6
Come out
or
all
7.
day. It's what,
She'll
2
be,
to 8?
It's 2 to 8. It's gonna be. We're gonna have. We're gonna have a great show. We're gonna have a costume contest. We're gonna have
Gotcha.
We're gonna have two prizes. Two things that you can get a prize for. One for the most creative. And then
That
the
could
one,
get scary.
and it will be scary, but that will be, but that'll be judged by the bar and the artists.
Nice.
And then we're gonna do the audience, whatever which costume the audience loves.
So Becky Fest, Sunday, October 28th. That'll be in
Yeah.
a couple of days. We're recording
That's
this
on
at
Monday.
Mark's Beer
Yeah,
Garden.
we're at Mark's.
Monday noonish.
Yes.
But so I'll put this up either today or tomorrow.
Awesome.
So we'll
Okay.
we'll promo it out.
Yeah.
Becky Fest, Sunday, 2 to 8 on October 28th,
Yeah.
right here in Prescott, Arizona.
Yep, right at Mark's.
Ticket
and we'll
price.
Be outside.
What do you got?
No, it's free. We are going to be selling wristbands
Okay.
that will give everybody happy hour
Nice.
price, and then food and all that stuff. And really,
Cool.
there could be other stuff. We also might be doing door prizes with those
Yeah.
as well.
So
where
come on out, have a good time.
Yeah, and it's like they're like $5. I mean, and it's just enough to just give us
So you doing
help
this-
us to keep it going.
You're doing Becky Fest annual?
I'm going to be doing once a year.
Were you doing it
I was doing
more
it
frequent before,
I was
right?
doing it. I was doing it every month for 4 years,
Yeah.
and then it was just me.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I kind of wasn't able to get kind of my music stuff going, and so I started doing it once a year.
Now you've been using that logo, that image for a while. Tell me about that.
Oh,
'Cause
that's Rosie. That's
that-
Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah, that's WW2
Yes.
women. At the
Women-
time, whole different mindset, whole different couple of generations ago.
Yeah.
What was Rosie?
Rosie was
Tell us
one.
about
Rosie was a symbol for the women who who went into the factories and took over all the jobs while the men were at war. And it really was women empowerment. It was like, hey, guess what? We can do this. We can do this. And, you know, we had women flying planes in the war, and we had women building the planes, and Rosie was that symbol. And so we changed it up. We have her with a mic.
I like
so it's
that.
almost like Rosie.
Was it a wrench before, I think?
No, it was just her. It was just her. You know, her with her arm up, showing her muscles and stuff like that. But
very retro drawing.
But But then we put the mic on there, and it's like all of a sudden it's like we're empowering, and we can have our voice, and it's like, I don't know. I think right now it's very important to have our voice heard a little bit. And
now,
so it's perfect.
Yeah. Why did that originally resonate so hard with you? That image, the folklore of Rosie the Riveter. Why did that grab your attention?
Well, I think she's a very when you see it, you know, like you're like, I've seen it. I know what that is.
Means something.
It means something to us here in the United States and throughout the world. I mean you can have it around in Germany, and people will be like, "Oh, I know what that is." Yeah. It's something that's recognizable, and it really was. It was that kind of that turning point in history where it was like where women were seen as people who could actually do things that men can do, you know, and actually and can prove it because we won the war, you know?
Yeah.
And our planes, we did, planes, tanks,
so
everything.
It harkens back to it. I was going to go somewhere there. I was going to say harkens back to an era where things were people worked hard. They were doing, and then I was going to say, so it's time to make America great again. No.
Oh gosh, you need to shut up.
I couldn't get it out with a straight face.
Oh. Hey, for everybody who likes that, hey, I'm sorry, but no, no. But really, what it is I just think that it's one of those things where it's like, well, and also like in music is really is harder. It's harder for women to break into the music scene as it is for a man, and so. I'm very happy that I've been able to do it for so long. Started in 2011 on September 11th. Yeah. And I started at Coyotes, and then I've pretty much I've played it in every bar probably here in town.
And we've talked before because you spent some time in Georgia.
Yeah, I lived in. Actually, I started when I came back. I lived in Georgia for 2 years. I moved there in 2009 and moved back here in 2011. And I loved it back there. I've met a lot of women musicians, and there was Swiftwater, which was it was called Women in the Woods, where everybody, all these amazing women would come together and just play music and kind of have that, everyone's coming out to I'm trying to think of all of it because I'm listening to this music.
Yeah,
but
Big Bad Voodoo Daddies
or something. Well, I don't know who it is, but it's awesome. But it was great to be able to have that camaraderie with women, in that we came together in the sense that we love music, that women can lift each other up and empower them in ways that sometimes normal society isn't going to let us do it,
and do it in an atmosphere where it's. And I hate buzzwords. I hate, I don't know. Gimmick's not the word, but kind of like trendy terms and things. But really gives you a safe space to express your art and be able to show and demonstrate and play your art form without getting judged on a stage of I don't know.
Yeah, I mean. It is. I mean, I think anytime. I mean, I think there's safe space for everybody in a lot of things, and that was a little bit of what it was back there. But it was more or less. I think it was just everyone's like, "Hey, let's get together and let's do this."
Have a good time.
I was very honored that I moved there, and they accepted me into this group so fast. Like I was just like, oh my gosh. But I found a group of women that people who've got record contracts, and there's people who have, who are just starting out. And you watch people, like, the great thing about doing Becky Fest is that I've seen so many women that I've had perform where they're able to play, now they're playing all the time.
Yeah.
Or I've seen them where they were the ones that were looking down, kind of like, oh my gosh, I feel, really timid on stage, and singing it and ending up being able to,
really open up.
A few months later or a year later, and they're able to sit up with their, looking out at people and singing and having that confidence. And that's really what that's one of the things that I love about doing Becky Fest is that it's one of those things where I can give women a chance to have their voice heard. That was the reason I started.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't even name it Becky Fest. I just had Becky and Friends. That was 2011 on September 11th. It was just that 4 hours, and I had 3 friends come up and play, and everybody had like an hour to play each.
You did that at Coyote Joe's?
And we did it at Coyote Joe's, and everybody loved it. And so all my friends were like, "Well, we need to do this again." Yeah. And they coined it Becky Fest.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I kind of take that torch and go, okay, this is everybody. This is everyone that. So everyone's like, oh, you're the Becky and Becky Fest. It's like I am the one who started it, but it's really Becky Fest wouldn't be anything if I didn't have all these amazing women artists. We've gone from we do music, we have music, we've had people, we have had dancers, we've had every kind of genre that we can have artistically there, and I want to try to make that even bigger, just because I think that it's I think sometimes certain people get overlooked in this wave of whatever we have right now.
Now Mark's is obviously a great venue, great supporter of the arts.
Love Mark.
But where would you like to see this Becky Fest grow to where you're doing bigger fairgrounds type thing?
Oh, I would love
Courthouse,
to.
Is that where you want to see this going?
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to. We've done a couple of shows. One of the biggest shows I think that we did for Becky Fest was down at Greasewood Flat.
Where's that? Is that
it was in Scottsdale. It got closed. It got closed down.
North End though. For some reason,
it was North End. Okay. Yeah, up more. North Phoenix area. It was amazing. We had and Hoyt Johnson was him and his boys and everybody, his family were very gracious of letting me have a 2-day event. We had 15 artists play.
How neat.
We had 2 stages. I think we had at least 4,000 to 6,000 people a day come through. And it was great. And people loved it. And I wanted to try to bring that up here.
Yeah.
And it's I'm what this year was just been crazy year. If everybody wants to know, I lost my dad.
Yeah,
my mom and I went on a long road trip.
I want to get into that
and all that stuff.
But I didn't. If when we're done here, if you go, what? Can we take that off? No, I want to talk about it. But if we get to somewhere that you don't want to, let me know, and I'll be happy.
I'll let you know
because you've gone through some stuff.
But but I do want to find. There's places here in town that I'd love to do it. I just have to be able to have that ability to get everything together. And it's hard because it's me. It's pretty much just me and my mom, and
I got a chance to
and
meet
that's
her over
us.
at that table a
and my
month
mom,
or so
my
ago.
mom's amazing. And she'll be here. She'll be here at Becky Fest, working the merch booth and everything. So come on out. But if people want to help, I'm always looking for people who want to help. So that we can do a big show, because I would love to do a big show.
Tell me a little bit about your family's history here, because the Dalkes have been here for a while, right?
Yeah, my parents, my dad and the Dalke family moved here in 1942.
Man,
my dad was 6 months old. They bought my grandmother found this place that she really, really loved, and all she wanted was just the house, the little bunkhouse, and a few acres. And the guy said, "No, you have to buy all of it." And so it was 165 acres. I think they spent like $3,000 on it or something back in 1942. And so we've been here since then. So we've been here. Actually, it's been 77 years that we've.
Oh man,
my family's been here.
They have seen some changes.
We have seen major changes. Yeah. I've seen major changes.
We've
just
talked
being
about
here.
that before.
Yeah.
So go milehighshow.com. Go put Becky Dalke in the search bar. We've talked a few times. Last time I remember you were telling me a little bit, but recap a little bit. What was junior high and high school like? The demographics of the town and the population, the roads.
Oh my gosh.
Because you told me some stories about where you guys would, the edge of town was now downtown kind of almost.
Well, the edge of town, I remember when they built what is now what we all know is like Walmart area over here on Iron Springs Road. I remember when they built that. And there was nothing there. Yeah. And I remember, we would ride our bikes. We'd have to ride our bikes like 2 miles to get to friends' houses and stuff like that. And then, it's been quite the interesting. I don't know. Right now we have way too much traffic, and now we have way too much. Back then, I could ride my bike downtown, not worry about much. It was kids playing in the streets, and everybody knew they had to come home at when the street lights came on, and people talk about that, but that's really what it was. I mean, it's like my street, we all knew each other, and we all if somebody didn't get home, my parents would call somebody and they were like, "Is Becky there?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, okay, you need to send her home."
I don't know why I looked this up the other day, but I saved it. For some reason, I was writing something down. I don't know why I looked it up. I grew up in an area in a suburb of Oakland. Currently, it's 160,000 people. When I was growing up, I want to say it was like 149 or something. I remember it hit 150 while I was there. Yeah. And we've been gone 15 years, 16 years. Yeah. 160,000 in a 63 square mile town. That's the town limits. Yeah. And for some reason, I don't know why I pulled this up. Prescott, as of like a year or two ago, 42,000 in 45 square miles. So you figure about 1,000 people per square mile. Yeah. Pretty consistent with Prescott Valley, 44,000 in 40 square miles. Chino Valley, where I live now, 63 square miles, almost exactly the same as Hayward, California, where I grew up. 63,000 square miles, 11.5 thousand people. Yeah. So I grew up in Chino Valley, but 10 times the
10
people.
10 times the amount of people. That's awesome.
Prescott now, for folks like you, I'm going to throw you under the bus here, for old souls like yourself.
Yes, I'm old soul.
Where you could stretch your arms and spread your wings and not hit a neighbor unless you wanted to. Yeah. 42,000 in 45 square miles. Yeah,
I think my mom said that when she moved here, she had there was a bunch of stuff, but when she moved here, I think her family moved here when she was 6 months old, but they were in Clifton. But when they moved Clifton, Arizona, it's the Clifton's mining town. It's like Florence area down in that Globe. If you take that area down there,
the southeast section of the state.
My grandfather was a school teacher, so he went there from Iowa, Missouri. So, when she moved here, I think there was. I think she said when she was in high school there was maybe 5,000 people.
Wow, Paulden, basically.
Yeah. It was like 5,000 people in Prescott.
Yeah.
And if you and so my dad was here, and I mean, if you think when my dad was
in the 40s,
76 when he passed, he catch the trains out here at Iron Springs. Yeah. And he would drive. I mean, he could go for days, and my grandparents would be like, "Okay, they're back." Because he would take the train down with like his brothers and friends, and then they hopped the train, and he'd be like 6 or 7, and they would, and then they'd hike over the mountains to back home, and I was like, and we kind of when I grew up, that was kind of how we were able to, from my house, we were able to climb. We could climb over to Old Lamb Chevrolet, which is off of Gail Gardner now, over there.
Now everything's kind of connected.
Everything's connected. Like right now, I can't because there's a big subdivision over by my, and I was just like, but like all the the petroglyphs that's up there behind that was all my land. That was all our land. That was. We called it Indian Rock. I don't mean to be, I don't
so
mean
it was
to
named,
be.
Yeah.
It was what we called it. But it's petroglyphs. It's what it is. But I mean, that's what we'd go up and hike on it. And we would just be like, oh look, and
part of the culture, part of the history of the town.
It was part of the culture. It was like and we all kind of knew everybody, and now it's gotten so big that it's like you don't get to know very many people.
You graduated what? Early 90s, mid 90s?
88.
88. Okay, so pretty close.
I'm old. I'm old.
I was
as
84. My wife was also 88, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so again, this is from an outsider's and just hearing stories. There wasn't a whole lot of change from the 50s, 60s, 70s, obviously cultural changes and things of that nature. But a big boom 90s was like when that housing boom, the population really started changing.
Well, I will say that the reason that Prescott got so big was when when Forbes magazine decided to make Prescott the #1 retirement city in America.
The media.
Well, no, no. What I'm saying is that here we go. We've that's. I mean, we had, but we also we saw that influx. I mean, my parents had a stained glass store, and we saw the influx of people coming in.
Yeah.
With our business doing stained glass, and people were coming in, but there was just a big boom when that happened. They were like, oh, everyone's like, oh, hey,
and
it just continues to. It just
as the Phoenix metro area really ballooned in the late 70s and through the 80s. I had some guys that I worked with in the Bay Area that lived in Mesa, Tempe in the 70s working for I couldn't remember what it was. It clicked one the other night at like 3 a.m. Raytheon took over a big section of there.
Yeah.
And he was an engineer for Raytheon, and it was just a boom in the 80s where it started spreading out. And as that took hold and people were looking to get away, this was an area that was attractive.
This was the place.
Cheap land, nice little weekend getaways out of the heat.
And I will say this. I think that the reason why we have a lot more people here is because our climate is different. Because when I was growing up, I mean, having 4 foot of snow in a winter was not unheard of. Like, getting below zero was not unheard of. Like, that was something that... And so I think that kept a lot of people away. They were like, I don't want to live somewhere where I'm going to have to shovel snow.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, we might get...
dusting.
We might... I mean, I think last couple of years, I think we got 15 inches of snow, and that was like,
Yeah, that was the blizzard of...
Yeah, it was like the blizzard, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And and then we get a dusting, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how to drive in this."
I was going to say, then you get guys like me who, when it might snow for 20 minutes in the morning, I can't leave the house.
And it's like it's almost like I'm like, oh my gosh, do we know? It's like I remember we had so much snow that we would slide, we would
Flagstaffian
we would
style,
slide down the hills at my house and go on top. We would slide onto the pond that we have, and it would be frozen, like solid, and we could go all the way to the edge. I was like, that's the stuff that I remember as a kid. That now it's like, oh man, nobody.
Well, one of the good things that came about, nobody likes it to change for the most part. I was at a meeting with the town of Chino last week, and one of the guys, he came up here to retire from Southern Cal, and he moved here in 2005.
Yeah.
And the mayor was talking about, smart growth, and we can't stop it. It's going to grow. We just got to figure out how to make it grow and still keep the flavor, still keep the feel, and not get too overwhelmed. And this guy goes, well, I hate to say it, but I've been here since '05, and I want it to stay the way that it was when I moved here. That's why I moved here, and I kind of laughed. I said, but what if everybody that moved here in '95 said that? You wouldn't have been able to move in.
How about all of us who've lived here forever?
Exactly.
It was like, I want to keep it the way it was.
I got here in '04. I wish it was the same way because you wouldn't be here.
It's true.
And we had a laugh, man. He goes, I know.
True.
It's just we don't want it to be.
Yeah.
And you know what I noticed? Most of the people who, and this is like the going theme when people talk on Facebook, those dumb forums, they get so angry reading them. But there was those California, they're making it California East. Most of the people saying that are the people from California who moved here. It's
they moved here.
You know,
It's
if
like,
that was the mentality, you wouldn't be able to be here.
well, but my thought is, I'm like, we have a lot of sun and we have a lot of wind.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I would like to have the world still here when my nephews have their kids and their kids have kids. I would love that to happen. But yeah, it is. It's one of those things. It's like, I would just sit there and like, I'm glad that people love Arizona. I'm glad that people love Prescott. It gets a little tedious. The hard part, I think the hard part is that we just don't have the infrastructure to hold this many people at this rate. Plus, we don't have the water. And back when like I said, we get 4 foot of snow. We have enough water.
It recharges that aquifer.
We would have everything, but now we don't. And we're looking at Flagstaff's not getting as much snow.
Yeah.
And when you add 30,000-40,000 more homes and all that stuff, I'm like, I'm okay if you want to come into the city limits and you want to build where there's empty spaces because all that's been allocated. I'm okay with that. But it's hard when we see annexation and it's like, well, and also, it's like, and people
more.
trying to take over the Dells. It's like, really? The Dells. It's like, you know what? Some guy came in and tore down my elementary school, Miller Valley.
Yeah.
For what? To make it empty for the rest for however long. It's like the Dells are a landmark. People come here so that they can go and hike and boulder and do all that stuff at the Dells. That needs to be kept as is. There's a lot of places in this town that I just sit there and I'm like, I can't believe that they allowed that to happen because those are places that you're never going to get back. You can't get those back. It's like Miller Valley. We're never going to get back. We all of our childhoods of going to school there and hearing the creaky floors and and being able to go, oh yeah, hey, guess what? This is how you get to my house. If you're at the Iron Springs, Whipple, Willow Creek, and Miller Valley, at that intersection, you look at Miller Valley School, and you'll know that if you turn left at that thing, you're going on Miller Valley.
Yeah.
If you go straight, you're going Iron Springs. If you turn where was Hastings or Yellowfront or all those places that we had before, then you turn on Willow Creek. Like, it was just, and it's like, we're a small town and they took Hastings away.
Yeah.
Which was
it's going to be Circle K.
And it's a Circle K. Like, we need another
I need another place right
another place. They just opened a Maverick down the street.
Yeah.
Why do we have that? But those are things. It's like, I mean, I understand growth and I understand that it happens. It's just like we need to do it where we think where we can think what's gonna how can we expand? How can we expand without hurting our water supply? Without pushing history away when we need it.
One of the pluses with this type of influx, though, is the caliber of people we got coming in, and I say that with admiration because just in the last 5-6 years, the level of artists that have come into town, the level of people who are playing with you. Darren Mahoney's been up here. He's got deep roots here from the 70s, but he's just recently moved to the area.
Oh yeah, and Darren and I have a history. I love him, so it's awesome.
If you're not familiar with the Prescott area, we got a lot of listeners in California. We got a lot of listeners down in the valley. May know what Prescott's like. take a weekend, come on up.
Yeah.
And cruise off the row, come over to Mike's. You know what? Your food, you can eat while we talk.
I know
It's fun.
that, but I don't want to be like,
I don't care. Take a bite and give us a review on Mark's. What did you call it?
This is Curryverse. This is like the best stuff in the world. Oh, so good.
Now, we're off several blocks off the row, what everybody thinks of when they think of Prescott, that whole Courthouse Square, Whiskey Row. But there's some such cool spots off it, also in Prescott Valley.
Yeah.
Now, you've been here for the bulk of your life with some trips out. What was this before? When I moved here, this was an Irish joint. What was it called? I don't remember.
Okay, I remember... I remember coming here with my dad and my uncles, and we would bring. They would bring all the kids, and I will let you know we had my grandparents had 16 grandkids, so there was a lot of us, and they would come, and this used to be Rocky's Tavern, and it was a neighborhood kind of divey bar towards the end.
Did they have the patio area, the outside area?
No, they didn't.
Or no?
No, I don't think they had. They had the outdoor. Oh,
well, you might as
okay.
well
I will do that. I will say that. Sean just gave me a thing to read to you, but I will read that to you here in a second. No, I want to say that Rocky's Tavern it didn't have the outdoor space like it does right now. But and the bathrooms weren't exactly where they were, where the women's bathroom is. There used to be a candlepin bowling alley.
What is candlepin? Was it like
Candlepin
miniature?
is this little miniature one that had like if you're from
beer bottles,
if you're from New England, you know what candlepin is. But it was just this small with it was like a bocce ball.
Gotcha.
It was almost like skee ball, but you'd knock over things, and we'd put coins in and we'd do it. And then
what'd you say? Like you knock over things?
Yeah, you just knock over the pins. And all that stuff.
I've never played candlepin bowling, but I've been in bars and knocked over things a lot. So maybe I'm an expert.
You might be. You could.
Usually it's tables and chairs.
So we would be there. We would be there, and my dad and uncles would be up at the bar drinking, and we would just. It was great. I love Rockies, and
do you remember what it was after that?
And then I think it turned into Hot Rods. Was that it? Was it? Was it Hot Rods?
No, it was something in between. Because when I moved here,
I don't remember. Well,
when I
will say this that I was not here for a lot of the 90s. So
I moved here in 2004, and when I was working right around the corner at Walmart, we would come over here after.
Yeah,
and it had an Irish. I don't think it was Rockies. It had an Irish name.
I have no idea.
I think because it was one of the only places you could get Guinness on tap. That's why we would come in here.
Yeah, I would not. I do not know.
Maybe it was Hot Rod, but I thought it had.
I think it was Hot Rods. I think it was Hot Rods.
I thought it was called something else.
I think it was Hot Rods, and then
maybe
it
we
turned
just called
into
it something else.
Or it could have just been sitting for a little bit, and then they changed it over to Hot Rods.
Yeah,
who knows? I have no idea, but that's
darker.
what I remember it. Oh yeah, it was smoke. There was smoke. It was black. Yeah, you come in. Because you walk in and all the old guys sitting there in the bar going, "I'm gonna."
One of the things I like about Mark's now is you can come in and the patio outside, during the when weather allows, there's music out there.
Oh yeah,
we
will be out there because it's going to be beautiful. Should be nice. So we're hoping.
Horseshoes, I think, some darts, and it's just a neat little spot where also kids can hang out.
Oh yeah, kids
it's a
can
neat
come
little
here,
spot. My son and I have been over here. We've done other interviews out there, and he comes, he hangs out. It's nice. It's just a neat spot. And the food. Give us a review again.
Okay,
talk about it. What now? Explain what this is. It's brats with curry.
It's a currywurst. Hold on. See, he asked me. He goes, "Try it," and I'm eating it. And he's like,
I said review it. I didn't say stick it in your face.
I'm sorry. How am I supposed to review it if I don't have a taste of it too? Okay. So it's currywurst. Currywurst is a German. It's bratwurst with curry ketchup, and it is to die for. It is awesome. They have so many. They have what is it? What smoked brats? Beer soaked.
They're German bratwurst soaked in a authentic German smoke beer.
Oh, well, then that's amazing.
Right?
It is amazing. They have that. So they have the brats. They also have we have pulled pork sandwiches. You got salads.
Pulled pork nachos.
Pulled pork nachos,
Right.
and God, there's just so much. I just and it's all amazing.
The best way to host a podcast is just hand the mic to somebody.
There you go. And
Right?
it seriously, it's the best. And they have pretzels. They have soft German pretzels and everything with beer cheese, and it is amazing. It is just amazing.
Sean, how long have you been here, Sean? Introduce yourself first.
Oh, I'm Sean. I'm the bar manager, I guess. I mean, I've been here since right before we opened, and we've been here. I think we're going on. I think we're going on 5 months. I'm somewhere.
It's
we're
been-
like
it's-
4.5, almost 5 months.
Since the end of May.
Yeah.
Yeah, end of May.
Got any specials coming up?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Right? Well, all this weekend we're doing Halloween stuff, and Friday night starting at 7 o'clock is our first old school hip hop and jazz night.
Yay!
All weekend long, if you wear costume, you get an extra $1 off drinks, any drinks. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Woo.
Sunday, we're doing a big Halloween party. We've got the Tone Kings starting at 6 o'clock, and we're going to do 2 Halloween contests during the day for kids. So at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, bring your kids around with their Halloween costumes on, and we're going to give away some kids' prizes. And then at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, we're going to do adult-themed Halloween costume contests. And again,
Wow, it's going to be
there's gonna
costumes
some little
all
prizes.
weekend long.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
and then Sunday, of course, we have this awesome Becky Fest starting at 2 o'clock, and there's going to be another Halloween costume contest on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy
It's
weekend.
going to be fun. Yes, and everybody needs to come out to Mark's because this is the bar.
What do I ride?
Oh, motorcycles. Yeah, Sean rides a nice bike.
It's a 2017 Suzuki Boulevard S40.
Ooh,
Right?
it is
Yeah.
nice.
Nice little guy.
I like that it's orange.
It's a nice
love
looking
that.
bike.
It's
It looks
beautiful.
like a little Sportster. That style. It's a neat looking bike. I had a Suzuki, a little bit bigger. It was a big cruiser,
Yeah.
but it was too small for me. Got it for next to nothing
Yeah.
several years ago. It was 3 years old, had 11 miles on it.
Oh, my God.
Guy bought it, had it shipped out. Guy who rode Harleys and stuff through the 50s and 60s and 70s. He
Yeah.
was 78 years old. Hadn't been on a bike in a number of years. Bought it, had it shipped out. They
Yeah.
unloaded it off the truck in Chino, right behind Maverick. Had him loaded off the truck. He drove it around the block and said, this is too heavy for me. So he parked it.
Yeah.
And I got it for what he owed on it, which was like $2,200.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
11 miles on it, and then turned around and traded it for the bike I have, which is almost 1,000 pounds of chrome and
Yeah.
chrome and steel, 2,000 cc's.
Oh, wow.
So what's your 650, 655? So what is that? Do the math, Becky, because musicians are good at math,
oh,
right?
yeah. No, I'm
Musicians
not.
are good at math.
I
So
could- you
that's
couldn't
like
tell me. I couldn't
three
tell
of those
you.
engines. Yeah, 3 of those engines on
It is
mine.
huge.
Yeah.
It's a big. It's a
Well, it's
big
gotta be to
motorbike.
haul my butt around.
Well, yeah, it will. It does. It does.
Man. All right.
It's okay.
Speaking of being hauled around,
Yes.
you mentioned just about 6 weeks ago. You got back from your
We got back
road trip?
on. We got back around. September 15th,
I think
14th or 15th.
You got back
is
like
when we
a
got-
day or so before I saw you and your mom here. And
Yeah.
when you say we, you and your mom.
my mom and I.
Tell us about that trip.
We went on a month-long road trip with my mom and I and our 2 dogs.
What were you in?
Betty and Roja, and we were in a Chevy Tahoe. We camped. We pitched tents. We pitched our tent, and we went to like 8 states, I think.
What was it? No,
It was
to start
amazing.
off. This was just kind of get away, clear your head.
Well, what it was right out as soon as with my mom and I took care of my dad.
Yeah.
When we knew we had to put him in hospice,
Yeah.
his health was going down, and so we were there. We took care of him, and we had talked about maybe we want to go. My dad always talked about going to certain places that and he hoped that we could do that as well. And if anybody has ever been there, a lot of people are going to deal with it. But death is just it's what happens, but it does change you very much.
Yeah.
And Mom and I were just like, we don't know what to do. We're not sure what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to handle this. And I said, we need to get out of here. We just need to get out. We need to go clear our heads and see if we can, come back and deal with the stuff that we really have that we really need to, and figure out what we want to do with the last bit of, the last half of our lives, kind of thing. And I said, well, let's go. Let's take a road trip.
So you started here in Prescott.
And so we decided, okay, luckily we made a plan, which is something good, because we didn't want to just
very
willy-nilly.
unlike a musician.
It is willy-nilly. We just go, oh, sure, I'll play, whatever. But yes, so we left here, and our first stop was Navajo Monument up in up near Kayenta.
Mm-hmm.
That was our
Beautiful
place.
part of the
Oh my
country.
gosh, it was so beautiful. We got there, and I think there was only 3 other people in the campground, and we were all so far away from each other, and the it rained a little bit while we were there, and just you wake up to the great thing about the great thing about the trip was that you get up early. And you go, you get to watch the sunrises and the sunsets, and the sunrise, and the sunsets there was just amazing. And so we went from there. Then we went to Colorado, and we stayed at the Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. That was, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I mean, it was just to get away from everything and go see places that we never seen.
Now, I'm assuming,
and it was great.
I may be wrong in assuming, but I'm assuming you had your guitar with you.
I did, and what's funny is I only played it 2 days out of the whole entire thing. Yeah. It was more. I was the driver, so I drove the 5,500 miles that we drove.
Now, were you primarily camping out? Did you get into towns much at all?
We did on and off. We did a lot of KOAs where sometimes if they had a cabin, we would stay in a cabin.
Were you trying to stay kind of off grid though?
But yeah, we wanted to stay off grid as much as we could. Just because it's just, our phones, everything is just you get bombarded with everything. And I think when I got home, I just was like, I want to go back on the road because I don't have to deal with all this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But it was great. Then it was wonderful because we were able to find beauty that was, that we hadn't been able to see in a while and feel, and we took my dad. Dad was with us, and we took photos of my dad, and I had this little sock zombie thing that I used to take with me when I'd go on trips and take photos, and so we'd take little photos of Dad and them and my little sock zombie together, and it was great. Then we went from Colorado, then we went to Denver and stuff. We stayed with friends. Some places. I got to see my friends Tania and Ben, who are their band is called Heart Society. Got to see them in Boulder.
I was going to ask, did you get a chance to see any local music kind of out of the way? You mentioned your friends in Boulder.
Yeah.
Did you pop in any, taverns or anything, or was anybody playing at campsites or anything to where you?
Not a lot. It was, when you're traveling the way that we were for a month, it's like we didn't really stay in places that you you'd like, oh, hey, let's go into town and do that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like we only have this much time to go see these things. And, but I met a lot of people. I mean, I met people along the way, which is awesome. But like we stayed at KOAs, we camped. There was a couple of times we would like, well, I don't want to have to try to set up the campsite at all.
Yeah.
If we're just going through a town, but we knew we gave ourselves like 5-hour drives. That was about it.
Nice.
Because, we just didn't want to wear ourselves out.
You give
and
yourself
then we would
a chance
we would stay at hotels or motels or whatever, and
give yourself a little chance to recharge in between and things.
And we did stay in a couple of places for a few nights. I think Sundance was one of our favorite little places.
Nice.
And that town, and it was great because it was like you were able to be like, Sundance had maybe 2,000 people that lived there.
Wow.
And it's like 20 miles from Devil's Tower. I'm wearing my Devil's Tower shirt right now. And Devil's Tower was great. We had experiences with my dad there that were amazing. It's like when you have it's weird. It's like when you go and you let yourself experience things for the first time.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like Devil's Tower was. As a child, you go Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and it was like,
that's
oh my
the
gosh,
mashed potato mountain.
Yeah, that's the mashed potato mountain. You have that, but then you go and you read more about it, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's such a spiritual place. That's really called Bear Lodge, is what native the Sioux and. I think it's the Sioux Indians that call that there, and there's a bunch of other Native American tribes that that converge onto Devil's Tower as one of their sacred spaces, and you could feel it. Like you could be there, and it's like we were able to find a place that was like, it was like you were away from everybody.
Yeah,
but you could see Devil's Tower so close and. And we had a couple of
away from everybody, but right there with your mom.
Oh yeah.
How did that? When you guys got back after a month on the road, how did your relationship change with you and your mom?
I don't know. I think our relationship changed. It didn't really. I think it grew us stronger.
Yeah, stronger
together. We do know that we when we're on the road, we're great. We're great.
Nice.
We might have a few like, oh my god, little tiffs, but nothing major.
Tough. That can be tough to be in a confined, but at the same time, it really can strengthen that bond. I feel that with like anything else. My wife, my son. Mm-hmm. The best thing that ever happened to me before my son was born was marrying my wife, because I was on a path to who knows what until I met her.
Yeah.
No joke, not exaggerating. She saved my life, but 15 years of together, and things can change. She was, more times than I'd like to count, she's ready to kill me on a daily basis sometimes. Then my son comes along, and it threw a whole different dynamic. But there are times when they're gone, when I'm home alone, or like this week, I'm going to be out of town working, there's times where it's like, I need this to be alone. We're going to end up strangling each other. Yeah. But there's nothing like being isolated, no cell phone, no TV, no nothing. We did a trip this past March. We ended up going through Yosemite. Oh, kind of as a last minute thing.
And you can't, there's nothing. There's no cell service anywhere.
No cell service, no phone, no TV, no nothing. And we, 4 days, we went back for a family wedding. Yeah. The wedding was on Friday. We left the Friday before and didn't see family members until that Thursday. And that 4 or 5 days was the best thing we could have done.
It is.
It really got us closer together. We've got to do that again. So no matter how tight and how great a relationship you have with family, there's something about being locked in a car with nothing to distract you that really, really can draw you much closer together. The first 5 hours might be rough.
Oh, no, it was great.
Especially traveling with me. I'm not a good traveler. Yeah, my
it
my
was-
wife about dumped me on Winslow a couple years ago and said, walk home. But yeah, there's something about that.
It is.
The two of you, two adults, sharing this experience,
Yeah.
but with a whole lifetime of history together.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was, you know what, it's, you know, growing up here and with my dad and mom and everybody. And it was my dad was an explorer.
Yeah.
He knew he needed to take care of the family. Like he knew he was like, I have a job. This is what I do. But he also was one of those people that was like creative and wanted to know everything about everything. And so,
Very nice.
so growing up, it was, it was either Saturdays or Sundays, mostly Sundays, where we would go and have picnics out, way out on Williamson Valley. And we would, my dad would, he looked for like arrowheads and like all that stuff that was out there that you can't do much now.
I need to do more of that.
We would go and we'd just sit by a creek and eat, or we'd go to the Verde, or we would do all that stuff, and he could find the beauty in like the smallest little thing. And so this trip was like that. It was like he was there with us, and he's like, look at this, like at Devil's Tower. I mean, we had we did, if you I'm trying to try to put it on a YouTube channel. My mom and I did some videos of our trip that we would do each time, like ever so often throughout. We're usually one day every day, if not like, or if we were like leaving another place, that's where we would do it, and we'd do little snippets and little things like, hey, this is what we saw. But we did one at Devil's Tower, and we were far enough away from all the hustle and bustle. We were on this little trail, and there was a bench, and there was a few people. There were a couple that was sitting there, and we were like, well, let's go over here and let's do our video, and we'll come back and we'll talk to everybody. And we went and did that, and we came back, and this is someplace my dad always wanted to go, and that is the thing. And there was I'm gonna cry because it was awesome. But no, we come back and nobody's there, and there's the bench, and there's this placard that says, it was I don't know if I'll say it exactly the way it is, but it says, presented to all the dads who instilled the love of outdoors to their children.
How beautiful.
And my mom and I just sat down, cried, and I could feel my dad sitting right between us with his arms around us going, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it amazing? And so and of course, then I wrote something right then and there. I did write a lot. I wrote a lot. That was really the thing that I did the most. Besides, instead of playing, I think I wrote journal. I have like my journal's full right now.
Are you gonna are these gonna be something we can hear at some point?
I have
either
actually,
spoken word or in song.
Oh yeah, there'll be a few songs that I play at Becky Fest that'll have it.
Well, full circle.
That will have it. So yeah, it's full circle. It's
full circle. When's Becky Fest?
Becky Fest is October 28th. Sunday from 2 to 8 here at Mark's Beer Garden on Swinton. Is that right? Swinson. I keep forgetting. I just say over off of Adams Street and Iron Springs. Yes, we're going to have a costume contest. We're going to have two prizes given away there. We're going to be doing a few door prizes, yeah, it's just going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day. So,
October 28th. From 2 to 8.
From 2 to 8.
But stop by. This will be up in the next 24 hours. But stop by Mark's all weekend. And what is it? Buck off? What do you got? What do you got, Sean?
All drinks if you're wearing a Halloween costume. Friday's happy hour from 2 to 6.
Gotcha. So just stop in at Mark's. Follow them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Follow Becky on Facebook.
Yeah.
And one day she'll have a website up.
And one day I will. And also, I want to let you guys know that there is on Tuesdays here at Mark's.
Please, yes.
Tuesdays here at Mark's, they have open mic. And then
who runs that?
Aaron. I can't. Aragon.
Aaron Aragon.
That's
and
it.
it's ran the way an open mic should be run, right?
It's run. Yes, I think it is. It's run the way it should run. And we have a joke. We have an
Little
inside joke,
baseball
little
joke there.
inside baseball joke between Matt and I. And then on Wednesdays they have trivia, and then they're doing the hip hop jazz on Friday. Yep. And what time does that start? 6?
No,
7? It starts at 7 on.
Is that's every
8
week?
now. It's going to be
Nice.
there, on Fridays, and then of course Thursdays they have live music. Saturdays they have live music, and of course then special day for us on Sunday, October 28th for Becky Fest.
Well, we want to thank Sean. Thank you. Thanks, Mark, if he's floating around
Thanks,
back
Mark.
there. And thank you to Mark's Beer Garden for letting us take
Yeah.
up space here. Becky Fest, October 28th, 2 to 8.
Yep.
That's easy. Did you do that on purpose? The 28th from 2 to 8?
I think so. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
it.
I think it may have been. I don't know. I was just like, hey, that sounds like a good time.
I won't be here because I'm I'm working down in Phoenix Wednesday through Sunday night for the All Things Comedy Festival. ATC, allthingscomedyfestival.com.
Well, but everybody else
in comedy in the country is going to be down there. It's going to be a great festival.
Man.
But for those of you up here in the Prescott area, Prescott, Arizona, great spot to hang out. Just don't move here, huh? And keep away from our Dells.
Keep away from the Dells. If you want to move here, I'm okay. But keep away from our Dells.
Move to Chino. We got more space.
Move to Chino or find a place in town to build a house. That would be great. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Becky.
Have a good one.
Oh, no matter what happens now, and I may not be rich with money, but I'm rich with pride, and I won't sell my soul to the devil. So you look inside. Oh no, so you look inside. And I show my heart every day, and that's where I will stay, loving who I am every single day. Oh, every single day. Home is where I'm standing when it all crumbles down. And if you ever need me, all you gotta do is just turn around. Well, all you got to do is just turn around. And they say home is where the heart is, and I can't disagree, 'cause it's a place where we all can be free. Oh, and we all can be free. 'Cause home is where I'm standing when it all crumbles down. And I will always be around. Yeah, I will always be around. 'Cause home is not a building, comes down